What is this?
Yeah.
Is this a jumping rock for ants?
Yeah. This is the Exploring the National Parks podcast with Dirt in My Shoes. My name is Ash, and I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. I think that the parks are best seen from the trail, and I'm here to make national park trip planning easy.
And I'm John. I carry the kids on the trails, I tell stories, and notice all the things that Ash doesn't care about much, like trees.
Join us as we show you around America's spectacular national parks.
We're sharing our favorite places, fun facts, adventures, and misadventures.
And we'll even throw in a little trip planning.
Let's start exploring.
So we wanted to give you a little update. We're about a little over halfway through the summer, which is crazy.
I know, it goes so fast.
Hopefully you guys have had some really fun adventures. John had to get back surgery at the beginning of the summer. And so this is going to be a short episode again because he just can't sit or stand or lay or really anything.
Every position is temporary. It feels like at this point.
Yeah, but we have been able to travel a little bit. I've just been doing most of the driving, much to John's dismay.
She's a great driver.
Please. We all know
says
you don't.
reluctantly.
Yeah. I am a great driver. But we went to the parks in South Dakota, which is one of our favorite road trips ever.
We love South Dakota.
Yeah.
It always is the best.
We're there pretty often.
Yes.
I feel like we're always like, what should we do? Let's go to South Dakota.
Yeah, baby. Woo.
So we did that, and we went up to Teddy Roosevelt. All of these are repeats, by the way. We've been to all these parks several times, but
yeah,
we just wanted to go back. So we went up to Teddy Roosevelt National Park, and then we did go down into Colorado as well, and we did all 4 Colorado national parks.
I love the Colorado parks.
The Colorado parks are so diverse.
They're so interesting, too. You have a couple that everybody knows and a couple that nobody knows.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Yeah. So we did that as well. And so that's really exciting. And then coming up, we're going to hang out a ton in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
So we'll be in Olympic, Rainier, and Cascades again. We just can't stay away from those ones either.
I love those ones so much. They're the best.
I know. So we did have plans to go east this year and last year, actually. And John's back surgery, because he got back surgery last summer too.
I have a very bad habit of doing these surgeries during the fun times.
Yeah. So we had to cancel our trip back east last year. We had to cancel our trip back east this year. It's just too much driving and too much travel for him. But thank you to everyone who has given him some warm wishes. He is getting a lot better, and we are able to travel to some of our favorite places. So It's been a great summer so far.
Yes, sir. It's awesome. And because these are some shorter episodes, we've decided to do some fun episodes that are a little shorter, cover specific topics. And this is a fun episode on some of our favorite places to cool off.
Yeah, so this is part 2. We've already done one part of our favorite swimming holes in the parks. And this is swimming holes part 2. This is by no means an all-inclusive list. Like, we have so many favorite places to swim in the parks.
Yes.
But today we're going to talk about 3 more. So let's start with probably my personal favorite. I'm pretty attached to this one.
You're so biased on this one, but it is a great place to do it. Like, this spot, you have amazing, amazing mountain views. The water is a little chilly, but it's perfect.
Crystal clear.
It's so clear.
Towering mountains. Really shallow water, which is fun. So we are talking about String Lake in Grand Teton.
If you couldn't tell by me saying she was biased, because obviously it was going to go straight to Grand Teton.
Like, honestly, though, I have been to String Lake at least yearly for pretty much my whole life.
Right. Yeah.
So this is just a family favorite spot. There's a nice picnic area right here. And then String Lake is a really narrow and shallow lake right at the base of the Tetons. And so the views are just, can't be beat.
You really can't get better views. Or like in terms of like a lake to reflect mountains off of, it's perfectly placed.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And so we go swimming here all the time. The nice thing about the Tetons is it does get pretty hot in the summer.
Right.
Usually July, August, it's not unheard of to hit 90-degree days.
Yeah.
In the
and
Tetons,
so you can appreciate the chill that comes. But because String Lake is so shallow, it doesn't get as cold as even other lakes close to it, like Jackson Lake.
Although I don't know if I believe that. There has been times that I have gone swimming in Jackson Lake and it's been warmer than String Lake. So I don't know exactly how the water temperatures work. Here, the water that's coming out into Jackson Lake is warmer than the water that's coming down out of the canyons in the String Lake. But what's nice about it, so the southern part of the lake is deeper. So if you really want to swim or like if you want to canoe or anything like that, you kind of stay to the southern end. But the northern end, you can walk across the whole lake and it only goes to like your thighs.
Right.
So that's pretty fun. We love to paddleboard in this lake. It's really great for paddleboarding. You do need a boating permit.
Yes.
To take your own stuff in any lakes in Grand Teton. You can also rent stuff 10 minutes away. So it's not bad.
No.
But we love to paddleboard in this lake. I think that's my favorite.
Oh, it's so fun. And it's so funny because every once in a while, because the lake gets so shallow and it kind of sneaks up on you, suddenly like the little fin on the bottom of your paddleboard is like dragging. And,
yeah.
Or you hit a rock and it's like, and then suddenly you have to make sure you get a really good impromptu balance check on your paddleboard.
Yeah. So String Lake and Grand Teton, if you want a fun, family-friendly place to swim in a national park, that one is hard to beat.
Yes.
So let's move on to the next one, though. I'm really excited to talk about this one. And this is the Smith River in Redwoods National Park.
People, I do not think, associate fun water things with the Redwoods because it rains so much right there on the coast. And when you get to Redwoods, sometimes when you're there, even in the middle of summer, it's a little bit chilly.
And the ocean is cold.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's not like, and this water spot is not the ocean.
Nope. So you don't think of swimming. So I should say Redwood National Park is also made up of state parks in the same complex. So it gets kind of confusing.
Right.
So the Smith River is in Jedediah Smith State Park.
Right.
Which is also part of the Redwood National Park complex.
Yes.
So you'll go here while you're visiting this park, but it is in the state park and it's the very northern part of this complex. So you're up there closer to Crescent City. Mm-hmm. But Jedediah Smith, so this state park has some really great hiking trails. The Stout Trail is really popular.
Yeah.
That's a great one. There's a campground right there, but then they have a day use area right there next to the campground where you can swim in the river.
And it's so cool.
It is.
I don't know. It's just like there's something really cool that the river does because when you're by the river, it just makes the trees seem so much bigger. Because when you're walking through the trees and you're looking up, or even when you're just driving on the road and you see the big trees and they're going up over kind of these rolling hills and smaller mountains and things like that, I don't know, it's kind of hard to appreciate how big they are. But from the river, it's like, boom, it's like you're at sea level and then you get to see how high above sea level they rise.
Yeah, when you're hiking in them, a lot of times you can't see the tops of the trees. And from the river you can because the river is surrounded by these redwood trees.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yes, and it gives you the opportunity to, like, even if there's just 360-degree views from the middle of the river, wherever you're at, and the ones that are closer to you, you're like craning your neck so high up to see. But further downriver, if you just keep looking further downriver, you can see them. And then as you get closer, if you're like floating on a kayak or something like that, you get closer and then you have to crane higher to see that one tree that you were just looking at. It's a really unique way to appreciate the redwoods. And because it does get a lot warmer because you're a little further inland away from the coast, so it's not as windy, generally speaking.
It's not as foggy.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And so you do get some really hot temperatures, especially during the middle of the summer, right there in that Jedediah Smith area by the river.
And the day use area, you do have to pay a fee to go in and use. But they do have a nice little beach area where you can swim. There's always people out there with floaties and kids just wading out in the river. It's typically pretty slow moving.
Yeah.
The water is clear and cool. It's so beautiful. And then the other cool thing about this area, I think, is they do install a bridge that goes from the campground and the day use area over to Stout Grove, which is this famous hike that you don't want to miss.
Yeah.
And so you can actually just hike across the river and go walk through Stout Grove and then come back across and keep playing. So it's really fun. We kayaked down this river and we took a tour.
Which was awesome.
It was really fun. So that's another way to appreciate the river. But if you don't want to do that, then there is just this day use area in Jedediah Smith State Park that you can go and hang out at the river.
Yes.
And so fun.
And that bridge that you mentioned, though, is only seasonal.
Yeah.
And so if you go during kind of the cooler months in the off season, I think they take the bridge down because the water levels on the river rise.
Yeah, they typically put that back up before the summer seasons, usually like sometime in May.
I think the first time that we were at the Redwoods together with our young kids,
the river wasn't there, or the bridge wasn't there.
The bridge wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I actually think I remember watching them like they were getting ready to start. And so they had all the materials. And so it's kind of, I don't know, it's like one of those fun Sims games, you know, where you get to watch them build the bridge.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's true. They were working on it. And we were like, oh, I didn't realize that was seasonal.
Yeah.
Now we know.
They build and take down a bridge every year.
Yeah. So that's a really fun swimming area. And then you got to pop over to Crescent City to get some seafood at Crescent Seafood, which is delicious.
I love Crescent Seafood with my whole heart and mouth.
We spend a lot of time up in that northern area because of Crescent Seafood.
Yes, exactly.
So that's a really fun one.
All right, I'm going to take you on a quick break from the podcast because I want to share something that has turned out to be really fun for me and the family. I'm talking about the free Dirt in My Shoes National Parks checklist. As simple as it sounds, this list of the national parks has become something I really love to look at. Organized by state and with a little checkbox next to each of the national parks, this checklist has become something of an adventure diary for me. With all the national parks listed on one page, it makes it easy to see what adventures I've had and which ones I have to look forward to. After you put yours up, I think you'll find that you have way more invested in it than you originally realized, and it will turn out to be more rewarding than you expected. Try to put it up in a somewhat visible space, because you'll find yourself having conversations that sound like, "Ooh, do you remember when we went there? That was so cool, let's do it again." Or, "When do you think we'll make it there? That sounds like so much fun, let's go there next year." You'll find that it's pretty good at making adventure buddies out of the people that matter most. Besides, you bought those hiking boots for a reason. You might as well get credit for where they've been. To get your own free Dirt in My Shoes National Park checklist, click on the link in the show notes below or go to our website, dirtinmyshoes.com/podcast.
The last swimming area we want to talk about in this episode.
Crater Lake.
Yeah.
The crown jewel of the Pacific Northwest. Oh my gosh, Crater Lake. And yes, you can swim in Crater Lake. It's not like there's any beaches necessarily.
No, there's only one way to get down to Crater Lake.
Right.
Which is the Cleetwood Cove Trail. And that's a little over 2 miles round trip, but it loses 700 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
So you are going down, 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 down. And that's the trail you take to take a boat tour as well.
Right.
So if you want to do anything on the lake, then the Cleetwood Cove Trail has to be open for you to get down there.
It's pretty amazing. And the first time that we went down there, depending on the time of year that you go to Crater Lake, sometimes the top of Crater Lake has like this little yellowy film on the top of it because the ponderosa pines, a lot of their, what is it called? The pollen. So a lot of the trees will pollen. And so a lot of the pollen gets on the top of the lake. And I remember there was this guy that he ran and jumped off of, like, it was almost like cliff diving.
There's a jumping rock down by the boat launch.
There's this awesome jumping rock and he jumped in and it was like he hit the water and like disappeared underneath this film of pollen.
I said no to getting in the water that time because I am so allergic to pollen. And that was like my worst nightmare. I was like, I'm going to come out of the water just like completely yellow, covered in all the pollen that's in the water.
Oh my gosh. It was like watching somebody jump into a bog or something like that. I was like, he's not coming back up, is he? He's goner.
Well, and the lake is so deep, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know what's in there.
It's true.
There's a little area where you can get in the water. The jumping rock is the star of the show.
Oh, yeah. It's
how
awesome.
tall do you think that is?
15 feet? Maybe?
Really?
Maybe 10?
20? Oh, I thought it was more. It looks higher.
You're shorter than me,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, 15 of John's feet,
Everything looks bigger
20
to you.
of Ash.
What is this?
Yeah.
Is this a jumping rock for ants?
Yeah. So the jumping rock is really fun. That's really the fun way to jump in and enjoy Crater Lake.
Oh man, it's so cool.
You
And
can also...
You're like the only person swimming too
Yeah.
a lot of times, because a lot of times people don't even realize you can swim down there. And so you get down there, they're all hiking and sweaty. And then you're like, I got this.
Yeah.
And you just jump off and you cool off in the lake.
You can also take a boat tour over to Wizard Island, which is an island in the middle of the lake. And there is some areas to like hang out in the water there
Yes.
as well. And those boat tours, like you have to sign up for a particular one, but it will take you and drop you off. And then you can have a few hours on the island. So
Right.
that's another way to enjoy just the water of Crater Lake. It's absolutely beautiful, even if you don't want to get in, but you can swim in here. I looked it up because I was like, this lake is so deep. It has to be freezing, right? And it feels cold.
Mm-hmm.
But during the summer, they say that the water temperature near the surface can get to 55 or 60, which is
That's not terrible.
for swimming, but it's a lot warmer than I thought.
Considering Crater Lake is basically only fed by rain and snow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then they said underneath, if you go 300 feet or deeper, then it goes down to like 38 degrees. So yeah, it's so cold.
yeah, that's true.
But if you're jumping off the jumping rock, you're not going to hit 300 feet unless something comes up and grabs you and pulls you under. So
Yeah,
you should
it's true.
you should be sticking to the surface level temperatures, which is closer to 60.
Yes. But honestly, you can't swim in prettier, clearer water. It's crystal clear.
Well, and I mean, it's Crater Lake.
Yeah.
When you get there, that's like the first place your mind goes. It's like, how do I get into that water? How do I touch that water?
Exactly.
Because it's bluer than you've ever seen.
You're swimming in a volcano.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Those are the 3 swimming areas we wanted to talk about in this episode. If you want more ideas, go to part 1 of our favorite swimming holes, because we have 3 more for you there. But hopefully that gives you some ideas to get out and to cool off in the national parks this summer.
Thanks for exploring the national parks with us.
Please share, like, and subscribe. And if you need any help planning your own trip, click on over to dirtmyshoes.com.
See you next week. Same time, same place.
And don't forget to get some dirt in your shoes.